Hello students, in this video I'm going to tell you the questions and the answers from chapter 1, that is Introduction to Object-Oriented Programming Concepts, and its unit Principles of Object-Oriented Programming. First question, enlist the features of object-oriented programming. So features of object-oriented programming are as follows. The first, it is a paradigm. I've used this word paradigm. Paradigm means model of something, right? A model of school, a model of a building, so that is called a paradigm. So it is a paradigm which is based upon the object which are created from the class. Means objects are created from the class. Always remember that. What is object? Object is an identifiable entity with certain attributes and behavior. And what is class? Class is basically a blueprint or a template for creating objects. Class also has the attributes and behavior, right? So class is required to create the object. And from single class you can create as many objects as you want. So sometimes class is also known as object factory. Now second, stress is on data. So here in a class, data and functions both are combined. Everybody knows about encapsulation because that is encapsulation. But data is always accessed through the function. So here more stress is upon the data in the object-oriented programming. Third, data and function can be combined as a single unit through encapsulation. Data is representing attributes of the class and function is representing the behavior. And this also gives the advantage of simulation. Fourth, data is secured due to data hiding. That is also a part of encapsulation because we are capable of putting data inside the class plus making it private. So when the data is private, automatically it is hidden from the outside access. That we will discuss in detail later. When you learn programming, you will be having clear idea of this thing. Fifth, reusability is possible due to inheritance because class is a reusable entity. Again and again we can reuse that and extend the existing thing which is there in the class, and this is extended into the new class, and that is the process of inheritance. So you will just write one sentence, that is reusability is possible due to inheritance. And what is inheritance? When you create a new class from an existing class, this is inheritance. So we are not only discussing the question answers, we are revising all the concepts with every single answer. So students, question number 2, which object-oriented principle is implemented through function overloading? So object-oriented programming concept named polymorphism is implemented through function overloading in Java. So here polymorphism means, you remember, that when a message is processed in more than one form is called polymorphism, where poly means many and morph means form. So let me clarify here, this word message is actually representing the function or the behavior, and more than one form, that means when in a class there are more than one functions with the same name, and definitely they will be doing different things. So this process is called function overloading. So that way you can say that function overloading is there to implement the concept of polymorphism, right? Now question number 3, 3 benefits of object-oriented programming. Benefits are, first is simulation. Simulation is student creating a model of something, that exists in the real world, right? Suppose you go to, learn how to drive a car. So these days the companies are providing simulators where they will make you sit on a chair and you will see in front of you there will be a screen. So all the things which you are having in your car, which you use while driving the car, they're all, simulated, a model of there, and you will feel that actually you are driving the car on the road. So just creating a model of something that exists in the real world is called simulation, right? And object-oriented programming gives us the ability for simulation, and that is the great advantage of that, because through encapsulation the behavior and the attributes can be combined. So you'll write simulation is an advantage or benefit, and it is possible because of encapsulation. Second is reusability. It is possible due to inheritance. It means everybody knows a class can be inherited by the other class, and that process is called inheritance. So that becomes the reusable. Class becomes the reusable. So reusability in true sense is there, and the new class will be having the features which have been inherited from a class, and they are having that class will be having its own features as well. So second benefit is reusability. Third is data security. Here data is safe because of data hiding, because there is a concept through that data is made private. So what is the result of that? Data is safe from the direct outer access. So data, if somebody wants to access, that will only be accessed through the functions of that class or the member functions, or we call them member methods. Fourth, two limitations of A, procedure oriented, B, object oriented. So A, limitations of procedure oriented programming are as follows. First, simulation. Again, you remember I've already explained that term simulation. So simulation is not possible as data members and member methods cannot be encapsulated together. So that is encapsulation. Encapsulation is not there in the procedure oriented programming. Now the second, reusability is not possible, and that is why designing complex system takes more time. Right. So reusability is there due to inheritance. So that is not there. So that is why this is also the limitation of the procedure oriented programming. You can take the third one also. You can say that data is not safe because there is no idea of data hiding. Right. So that is a limitation. So what you observe, I'm just giving you a tip if you want to learn it easy way or learn it properly and fast. So you can always use the advantages of the object oriented programming or the benefits of the object oriented programming as the limitations of the procedure oriented programming, because all these advantages of object oriented programming are not there in the procedure oriented programming. After that, limitations of the object oriented programming approach. What are the limitations? Limitations of object-oriented programming are as follows. First, object-oriented programming requires greater processor overload. It requires more resources, because many places you will see that there is dynamic memory is required, right? So more resources are required in the object-oriented programming. Second, object-oriented programming requires intensive testing process, right? So these two are the limitations of the object oriented programming. Otherwise, it's a very powerful tool to design complex system, and it is quite fashionable these days to use object oriented programming. How is the encapsulation useful in object oriented programming? So you remember encapsulation? Encapsulation provides the ability to combine data and function as constituent of a class, and due to this simulation is possible. Data hiding is also the result of encapsulation, and that makes data safe. So these are actually the advantages of the object oriented programming, which have been taken as the answer for the how is the encapsulation useful in object oriented programming. So students, learn your answers smartly. All right, understand the concepts, and very easily and perfectly you will be able to write the answers. Right. Now the question number 6, what are the advantages of high level languages? Advantages of high level languages are as follows. First, high level languages are easy to learn as coding instructions are written in simple English. It's very important thing about the high level language, that instructions are in simple English. Coding in the low level language is quite difficult, and that's why very less people were becoming programmers, because instructions were either in the binary means machine language, or it was using the symbols of assembly language, that was also difficult, right? So that way high level languages are quite popular because they are easy to learn, as coding instructions are written in simple English. Second, programs written in high level languages are easy to write and modify. So definitely, which is easy to understand, it will be easy to write, and it can be modified easily also, because error detection also quite easy. So when the error has been identified, you can modify it quickly. Now third, hardware knowledge is not required to write programs in high level languages.